last but not least, and please stay on the whole time because I've got another prize to give away at the end, and we want to make sure that some of you folks have that. And I want to make sure I talk to you all about sending us the evaluation at the end as well. So I'm going to turn it over to Becky, who's going to do a quick presentation from IRISBOND. So I want to How to Rule Your iPad with Eyegaze and Hiru by Hannah from IRISBOND. And we have somebody, an echo answering questions as well. So
yeah, just say hello before starting with the video. Say hello to everyone. Nice to be here, and thank you for hosting us here. And in the day of today, well, I'm head of global sales at IRISBOND, and we will be using a video, as we will have Hannah doing a lot of hands-on that we understand is the most relevant part of the presentation, as you will be able to see how can we rule on the iPad and going through different tips and tricks. So I will just give now the possibility to Becky to get the video in, and I will be happy to answer your questions after.
Right, can everyone see that?
Works perfect.
Hi everyone, and welcome to today's Demo Days. My name is Hannah, and I'm coming from IRISBOND, here in the north of Spain. IRISBOND is an eye tracking company, and we've been working with eye tracking for the last 10 years. We have an eye tracking camera that you can see here called Hiru, and I'll be telling you a little bit about that today. Our goal as a company is to make sure that we provide as many flexible solutions to Eyegaze users as possible. So, with that in mind, we've made Hiru a multi-platform eye tracker. So, you might wonder, what is multi-platform? That means that we can use this same camera not only in a Windows device, but also in an iPad, in 2 different platforms. This really goes along with our goals as a company to make sure that people have the options to choose. That means they can choose from any apps within apps or devices within a Windows, the Windows platform, or also from those same options from those different options within the iOS environment. The Hiru is not only multi-platform though. What it also has is some really cool hardware features. For example, we have a calibration button and a detection light built into the camera, which can be really helpful for caregivers or communication partners. And we also have some really good performance features, such as resistance to different lighting situations and high levels of accuracy, no matter where you are. With Hiru, we've made sure that we teamed up with other AAC experts, such as AAC app developers and hardware integrators, to make sure that we have as many options as possible for those Eyegaze users. Today, we're going to look at one of those options, which is the combination of an iPad with a Hiru. In today's demo, we're going to see how the Hiru can be used in combination with Apple's accessibility tools like Assistive Touch to access the full iPad and control and navigate through the whole entire system. But we're also going to look at how Hiru with the iPad can complete the goal of communication, which is so essential for AAC users. We're going to do so by looking at some of the integrated apps and seeing how we can use those for communication. So let's take a look. Okay, so let's jump into our demo. Here we have the Hiru connected to the iPad. Before we start, it's hot out here, so let's turn on the fan. Much better. All right, I'm gonna come out of my Access app and jump into one of my favorite communication apps, Predictable. The reason I really like Predictable is because it's an integrated app. What that means is that it's optimized for use with Hiru. You can see how it's even easier to navigate inside the app than outside.
Let's check the Wii. Let's check the weather.
Yes, let's check the weather.
Let's check the weather. Let's check the weather.
Now I can go back out of predictable using my assistive touch tool. In this way, I can jump right into my weather app. Using assistive touch, I can find the weather that I'm looking for. Let's see, San Sebastian. And I can scroll up and down the page. You can see how by just selecting different options from the assistive touch menu, I've got a lot of power to look through my whole iPad. Looks like the rain is going to hold off for a little bit, so let's keep going. Now I'm going to choose a shortcut that I've created for my favorite games to play with Eyegaze. You saw that I selected it from the assistive touch menu directly. Now that I'm in, I can play the game. But it's not very fun if I'm just using a single tap. So I can choose different options for my assistive touch menu as well. Let's do hold and drag. Perfect. So let's get out of here now that we've played a little bit and head back to our home screen. Now that I'm finished, I'm just going to pause my Eyegaze using a hot corner that I've set up earlier. And that's it. Now that we've seen how the Hiru works within the iPad, using not only the assistive touch tool from Apple, but also the integrated app Predictable, I wanted to point out that Predictable is not the only integrated app that we have. We've also teamed up with PRC Saltillo to have the Touch Chat app available and integrated with Hiru. That's on the iPad side. On the Windows side, we also are integrated with some of the big names that you've heard before. Grid3, Mind Express, and also our own Windows app called EasyClick. So just know that we're always working to have as many integrations with you as possible. But the integrations in the software aren't everything. We also want to take a look at all of the hardware options that we have available, especially in the US. Here you'll see that there's a wide variety of different options that you can combine with the iPad and the Hiru. This gives us the opportunity to reach users with different preferences and different needs because of the different sizes and options you have available. But these are some iPad options. Just know that our partners are already having available some Windows options and even more iPad options in the US. I wanted to point out before we finish that IRISBOND is growing in the US as well. We've recently opened our offices in the Boston area. Because we've opened those offices, we're also looking for more people to join our team, especially in the US. So I'll leave here on the screen some information on how you can get in contact with us and what you need to know about those opportunities. Before we finish, I wanted to point out that we also have a lot of support material available on our website and our YouTube channel. If you have any questions about how to use the Hiru or how to use eye tracking in general, you'll find a lot of tips there. And if you have any other questions for me, we'll go into the Q&A session right now. Thanks a lot.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Becky, for that video. I see that we already have a few questions, so I'm gonna directly go through them. It's basically different people asking about vendors and where you can purchase the Hiru. So I think it's important to share with everyone that IRISBOND doesn't sell directly in the US. We make sure that we partner with the right companies to provide the right product with the right service and the right support. So right now, possibilities for getting our technology in the US in the Windows side would be through Control Bionics, Forbes AEC, and Talk to Me Technologies. And then for the iPad version, you can also get our camera with other communication devices from Forbes AEC, Control Bionics, if you want to have a full SGD, and from PRC if you want to have it with your own communication device that is basically your own iPad. And then another question going for willing to know if you can buy the Hiru as a standalone. So right now you cannot buy the Hiru as a standalone, as we want to make sure that the Hiru is attached to a right consumer device, having the right angle and making sure that it's used with the right conditions and the right consumer devices. So I would say that right now you cannot buy an Hiru as a standalone.
I'm not sure which dance is actually, but at 11 o'clock a.m. I was just giving.
And the cost, if you're asking for the cost it's going to be different depending on what type of device you buy. For example, previously we just have our partners from PRC saying that you can buy a Versa I from 2095, but that doesn't include the iPad. If you want to have a full SGD, you might want to contact Control Bionics of course for iOS, and also Control Bionics for Talk to Me for Windows. So the cost will be different depending on the solution that you will be acquiring. And regarding the Hiru app, yes. So we have our own Hiru app to make sure that you can do the right configuration and start using assistive touch in a seamless way. So basically what we have is integration with the main communication software, as Hannah was mentioning in the video. For Windows, we have our own Access software. We have Grid 3, we have MindExpress 5. For iPad, we have our own Hiru app. That is the one that enables you do the configuration and use the assistive touch tools. And then we have Predictable 6, we have ATIA too. So you have the possibility of using Hiru app, doing all the customization and calibration there, and start using assistive touch directly, and then switching to one another integrated apps seamlessly, as you've seen in the video. I will write in the chat the name of all the companies that are providing this solution and in which operating system, so that you can have them, okay?
There was a question about whether you can calibrate with just one eye on Hiru.
You can do for Windows right now. For iOS, this is an option that it's not available, but of course, this is something that we have in our pipeline and we are working on. Yeah. And communication apps that you can use with Hiru. I mean, this is you can use whatever communication app you want in the iPad environment and also in Windows when you are accessing the full iPad or the Windows environment. But it's true that we have said before a few apps that are fully integrated with us, meaning that you can do the configuration process directly from the app, and that you can navigate through the app with different features such as the snap features, or somehow the importance about the integration is key, because when you are enjoying the UX and you are going and navigating through the app, the ease of use is totally at another level. If you do it with assistive touch, it's somehow accessible and you can do it in an easy way. But if you do it fully integrated, that means that we've been working together with that company so that the combination of Hiru and that software is optimal.
We are almost out of time. Do you want